Hey everybody, what's shaking? 10 years ago I was sitting on the couch in my house thinking I was going to have a normal night, kind of just settling in. But it would end up being the night that I found out what true love was, and it'd be anything but normal. Thank God for that. Anyways, my wife comes down the stairs at the time. My wife at the time comes down the stairs and she says it's time. So I said, okay, and grabbed the bag that had been there for the last 2 months. We were preparing for the last 9. I thought it was over preparing, but it turns out it was just right. And I grab the bag as we walk out the door, get her in the car. It's a beautiful spring night like it is tonight, hopefully. Looks pretty good out there. But anyways, we're driving on this beautiful spring night thinking it's clear sailing. But you've heard the old adage, as soon as you get past some ridges, it's a different world. And sure enough, I start driving in one single solitary raindrop hits my windshield and freezes. So that's not that bad. But it was immediately almost followed by a whole army of freezing raindrops. And the army's main purpose was to limit my visibility and knock me off the road so we have this baby in a ditch. But I was able to white knuckle it all the way there, keep the car straight, get into the parking lot. I was a little more steady than I was now, but I was able to get her there, and we walked in, and it turns out we jumped the gun. We were too early. So back out into this now icy place. It still wasn't too bad. We decided to drive to her parents because it was closer to the hospital we were at. And I watch her bounce around on a Bosu ball for a little bit, and she says it's time again. So we go out in a torrential downpour, and it is just frozen ice everywhere. Scrape off the car, jump in, and start driving. And in my mind, I'm saying, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. Because my wife at the time was very well versed in country roads, because that's where she was from. And it was kind of an old joke that I didn't know how to drive in country roads, that maybe I was a little nervous. So I keep repeating to myself, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. Meanwhile, my wife at the time is sitting in the passenger seat, and she's about to pop. She looks out the window at a road that she's driven on millions of times before and says, oh my God, this is bad. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're going to have this baby in a ditch. This is great. But again, white knuckled it all the way into the parking lot, which is now a skating rink. But the trees are just beautiful, covered in ice. It's beautiful if you're just looking at it, but not when you're driving or walking in it. So we get there, and it turns out that we have jumped the gun again. And I said, there's no way I'm taking my wife out there, who's about to pop, and we're not going to have this baby in a ditch, because that's where we're headed if we go back out there. So they're able to find some room, and sure enough, soon enough, it was time. Now, we've been to Lamaze classes and all that stuff, and my job was there to support her. So they were telling her to push. And as she's pushing, I'm trying to breathe with her, like they taught me. But I'm using this annoying voice, maybe because I was nervous, maybe because whatever. But I grab her hand and I count back from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She said, stop that. You are annoying me. So I agreed. I stopped. I stepped back. And the doctor said, this baby is stubborn, like her old man. She just does not want to come out. So we're going to have to use the vacuum. So right away in my head, I envision they call for the vacuum, and this janitor comes in with a Bissell or a Dyson, comes in and sucks my baby out. And it'll all be over. But really what the vacuum is a big suction cup that wraps around the baby's head, and then they pull it out. The doctor pulls it out. So they're able to wrap the suction cup around my baby's head, and then give it a few pumps, and it grabs on tight, and they're pulling my baby out of my wife at the time. And as they're pulling it out, she's halfway out, I'm excited, and I hear, pop, and I get hit in the face with some foreign substance. I close my eyes, leaking down. I wipe it off. I look, and then I look at where my kid is. My kid is hanging halfway outside of my then wife, and the head looks like it's exploded. I said, "Oh my God, my baby didn't even have a chance to live." And I just wiped the brains off my face. And I almost fainted. But the doctor brought me back in, and she said, "Come on, we need you. Everything's fine." So they were able to get her out one more time with this suction cup, vacuum, and immediately my wife and I are relieved that everything's okay, and we start crying that we did it. And then I then I cut the cord and I held my little girl for the first time. And that is exactly, I felt this feeling, that unmatchable feeling. It was like a great understanding. It was like a connection. I finally realized the relationship. I appreciated the relationship that I had with my parents. I appreciated the relationship that I had with my family. I understood why my dad went to work 7 days a week and worked overtime to put food on the table. I understood why my mom worried so much and wanted to teach us all these lessons and kept a hold of us. Because that's what true love was. It's this unbelievable connection between who you are and who this little person is. And through the years, this little person shows you who you can be and who you really are. So as I looked up out of the window, as I'm holding my little girl, a beam of sunshine comes through the clouds and starts melting the trees. My little girl brought the sunshine with her, warmed my heart, and I love her for it every day since then. You're my favorite. Happy birthday, Punky. Keep it steady.